Tell me.
Live.
Oh, we're on. Actually, this is a bit different this time, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone outside, and I'm getting instructions from 2 rooms away. But what we're doing today is we have the rings, the rocks, the rings, the skulls, the pendants, all of the different things are arranged in a circle. We're going to show you that in a second. But this particular arrangement is a combination of everything. Now, I've known Paul and Phoebe for well over a decade now. They've been out on country with us quite a few times. And they've spent the whole of their life on a spiritual crusade. And they have some objects that are powerful, and they come from different places, and they will make this an even more powerful arrangement than what it is right now. So I'm going to introduce you now to Paul, who's going to come over here right now, please, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is Paul Hoogendyk, and Phoebe is off camera. She'll be handing things to him. What Paul's going to do, and I'm going to step away for a sec, is Phoebe's going to hand some of these objects to Paul. He's going to explain what they are, and then we'll put them in formation. And at the end of this equation, when we're finished, Evan will then reset the camera, and you'll be able to see the whole of this arrangement. I'm aware of the fact you can't see much now, but we'll get there. Okay, first one up, please, Phoebe. Just say hello to the people as you go past there, so you're not forgotten. Paul, what do you got there for us, mate?
All right. Hi, everybody. Yeah, an arrangement of stone that really wanted to come be part of this journey. And as I've mentioned to Stephen just recently, it's like many rivers coming together at this point. Much energy from many different places, and it's all beginning to join. So I'd like to introduce the first one. This stone is Aotea. Aotea was the sacred stone of the Aotearoa nation. Aotearoa people were in Aotearoa, New Zealand, for well over 2,000 years before the Maori. They were a people of peace. This was their stone. Very difficult to get. One place in the world that it comes from is the Jacob's River. This is a particularly beautiful healing stone. It cleanses itself.
Hold it up for us, please.
So,
okay, Paul, this is a cleansing stone, and it's a really powerful one. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do with this one, and you'll see in the finish where it is, we're placing this next to the 2 Atlantean rings, which are basically full of, well, they're very powerful rings, but they're also broken. They are not a nice piece of work. And what I have at the moment, I have 2 silcons alongside, which are powerful healing rocks. This will make 3. We want to control those rocks because they have so much energy, but their negativity has to be abated. So we've set this ring up to cover all the different aspects and features of these rocks. So this one, you'll see in a sec, has been placed right next to 2 rings that have, well, I'm going to be honest with you, I've been told when this is finished, I can't wear them anymore, and no one in the cosmos wants to wear them, but we need them. So Paul has now given us something to calm them down so they give us energy, and we don't need their untoward nature. So what's the next one, please, mate? Handing over from Phoebe again. Oh, this one.
this is a very beautiful stone. Came to me from Lennox Head. I was gifted in Peru a hand-cut garnet, probably 1,800 years old at least, that disappeared on me. And as I was looking for that stone, this one appeared. It's been in my clinic for many years, and you can see that it's
got a coat on top. It's got a thumbprint. And what we found out with this thumbprint, Paul, that it has both a male and female grip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, that's really important because we have a rock here, which we've mentioned before, the stone rock with the actual serpent here, which has a male story and a female story. So what we've decided, and you will see this soon when Evan's finished, is I'll come back and take that one off you. And just to explain what we mean by that, here is the male grip where the thumb sits here, fingers go around this depression. Female grip, you put your fingers around here and the thumb sits on this side here. So we're going to place that one down here alongside this rock here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this rock will be the same arrangement. Evan's going to take pictures of this. This will be exactly the same arrangement that we will use on the 22nd at 2:59 in the morning. Oh dear, I'm still thinking about that. Northern Hemisphere, this time around, you're doing very well. Okay, the next one, please. Oh, this is deadly. All right.
This is the sacred peace stone of Aotearoa in New Zealand. The Waitaha came looking for this stone. Many of them were at Easter Island originally, and they're looking for the stone of the gods, the stone of light, the stone of peace. This piece has been in my clinic for many years. Many people have handled it, but it's said that love was never allowed to linger when the earth was created, that love was anchored in greenstone and Pounamu. So this is why I bring this stone to the circle.
Well, this one we do have 3 stones from Oregon, and I want to thank the lady. I've got the name, Evan, remind me, I think it's Sandra. Is that the one from Oregon?
I think so.
I think it is, and I thank you for that. And we have 1 stone from from New Zealand, which I have the latitude and longitude for. And when I go back, I'm going to give it back to those people. We know where to take it. But in the meantime, this will go next to our New Zealand rock, and I'll place it down here, which means we have 3 rocks from Oregon alongside this, and now we have 2 from New Zealand. But that could change. We wait and see. So next up, what have we got next?
What do we have next?
Oh, it's not the one from New Zealand. I thought I led into that, but maybe threw a curveball. We've got. What's this one, please, mate?
So there are, it's always said that there are different people that connect to different elements. Some people are fire people. Some people are water people. I've always been a stone person. I've had crystals all my life. But this piece came from South Australia, from a very special area. We used to go and dig these crystals ourselves. And it has a particular writing on it. It has a coding that my body understands, my spirit understands. Logically, I don't know what it means, but I do know that it had to be in this circle today.
Oh, definitely. What's fascinating, we're just going to take this a bit closer. The stone, the markings you see on this side are raised. They're not cut. It's actually raised up off the crystal, which makes it quite an interesting piece of work. Now, what we do have, and you'll see this in a second, I have in the middle of this arrangement a choice of a rock, a ring, and a pendant. Now, the ring and the pendant, one of those is made by aliens, one was made before Atlantis, and the rock is obviously original. Around it, I have 7 objects that circle that first circle. I have 2 crystals at the moment. One is from Brazil, which is claimed to be Lemurian, that actually Kano asked Roz to buy for me. The second one we had was from Australia. This one goes alongside them to make a figure 8. Now, the figure 8 is very important for the standing stone site, which is not far away, and that's why we've got 8 objects. When Kano was on that site, it was 8 hawks he called that circled above us. So that's in reference to him, and that fits perfectly. So we've got that. We've got a first circle, a first piece, which is 3, and then 8 around the outside. There's a piece of bark from carrion from the grandmother tree. There's a feather from the time Evan and I went into a sacred site and got into big trouble, didn't we, Evan? And the elk flew out. Huge trouble from Kano on that occasion. We've got a skull, which is going to be turning up. That's actually a Homo sapien archaic. A new rock that's turned up that was brought for Evan to healing, and they're all together. That makes 8 now. We've got a perfect arrangement there. So that's fixed up, and we've got a couple more to go. The next one is a real interesting piece of work. That really is.
So throughout our journeys, Phoebe and I traveled the globe. We went to 12 different countries, or 12 countries all up, and it took us 8 years to get there. One of our journeys took us through the Great Pyramids and then into Dogon country in Mali. This piece, and I'll...
Phoebe, if you could just take it over close and hold it up and talk about that while you're doing that, and hold it there while we'll focus on that, and Paul can stand in the background.
My guide there, or our guide there, Mamadou, was telling us that this came from the Telem people. So the Telem were red people, and they lived high up in the cliffs because there were a lot of animals up there at that time. The Telem had magical abilities. They were able to fly. And this was one of the pieces that was gifted to me along the way. So you can see that it has a bird head, a shapeshifter on a horse with a shield. So many codings in it. Much of the ancient stuff we've lost along the way, but it certainly wanted to come on this journey as well.
I'm going to make a point with this ring. I've looked at the metal there, and it looks so much like the metal that we find from Lemuria and Atlantis. I believe it's orichalcum. If we ever get it analysed, we'll confirm it. But I'd put money on this being copper and zinc, with 3 other elements put in there like orichalcum is done. And normally it's lead, iron and nickel, or variations on that. Now what we're doing with this one is we're placing it with the Lemurian ring, which of course is orichalcum plus a little drop of tin, and we're placing it next to the bone of Nefertari. Now I'm taking out another object because I would place 4 there. That's not a good balance, particularly for the Chinese. They'll be very upset with that. I'll be taking that out, and this will take its place. So it's going to go down the bottom over here. And that's a very positive set of 3 rings, and they balance out on the other side over there, the Atlantean rings. And I put that aside now. That's gone into the reserves bench. And Paul, what have we got next? Oh, yes. Oh, welcome to New Zealand again.
So through a series of visions a long time ago, I was guided to connect with the elders. One was to be given the art of carving. It was downloaded into me, carving of stone and bone. The second one was to meet with some elders and to gather some green stones, some sacred pounamu, which you saw a little while ago. This was a large piece of stone. Most of it was carved into 12 symbols and placed all around the world, and sacred sites that are not well known, but there are portals of light that have been kept safe. I believe that those the symbols were actually keys to the portals to unlock and to bring that grid of love back onto the earth. This Aurora here went to every single site. It went to every body of water along the way to introduce it to the land. And then it sang once, which is on the ridge of the Star Walkers in New Zealand, which has been cut off now. It's very hard to get to, but a very, very sacred place. So it only sang one time, and it was to connect all of the stones up all around the planet.
And we had an original Aurora with us, and the 2 sang together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
This is from New Zealand, and this now means we have 3 objects from New Zealand and 3 from America. This is why this is a global gathering of different objects. So that one will go next to these 2 down here. I'll bring that back. And now we have 3 from that area. And that's just been placed down there. We've got this one here, which I'll hold up, which is from New Zealand too. This is not an axe. It was never used as an axe, and it was never used like that. Beautiful piece of technology on that. That's also from New Zealand. And we do have the location for that, and that will go back. Don't worry about that. That'll be fine. And I think last, but by no means least, very symbolic, this one. Adam's coming back again. Lovely camera work there, isn't it?
Well, very good.
So within this pouch contains a stone from every one of the places, every one of the portals that we went to. When a stone was given, a stone was received at the same time. This is also symbolic of Aini, or sacred reciprocity, which they talk about in the Andes. Giving and taking. It's a sharing of energy. But these stones have sat with me during many ceremonies, and as I said, they represent every single one of the journeys that we completed at the end of 2012. So yeah.
All right, mate. What we do with this pouch is, if you could just hop out in there for us. Thank you, Paul, because I'm going to call someone else in now. This pouch here, which has got the 12 sites here, I'm placing that next to our Lemurian and Dogon, a jewelry there, and plus the bone from an Egyptian. And that seems to be the right setup there, because we've got Dogon, Lemuria, Egypt, and then we've got the 12 sacred objects. Now, what it'll do, it'll sit behind that circle. It's still part of the circle, because what we have in our circles, we have 4 cardinal points. When I made this, I was very conscious of the fact they are the ones that create this, and those points are very important. So what it does is it gives it a strength to this side here. I'll lay it across here, behind them. And ladies and gentlemen, what you now have at the moment is this will be the arrangement that we put together on that day. And what we might try and do is we may try and hang the camera above. From which one was it? Those ones there.
Well, We'll have to give it a test because it's got to capture the whole
I know.
thing, and if it's
All right. So we may be doing that, but either way, you're going to see this. Now, what I'm going to do now is something that people may not have been aware of. As people know, we work with a lot of elders, and each elder brings to us a different skill. And quite recently, we're lucky enough to make the acquaintance of Trudy Roberts, a local original lady, and a person that I'm a little bit jealous, I've got to be honest, because the rocks have basically been my business. Don't smile, Paul. And I've been the one who's been in contact with them. I mean, most blackfellas are scared to death of these things. They won't even go near them. They won't even touch the damn things. And honestly, they've done a lot of things when they don't like people. But it became very obvious to me last time when Trudy was here and she sat between the rocks. She got in contact with me soon after and gave me a lot of information, most of which I'm not going to be able to get down today, but I'll get back to that eventually, because originally she came to do that. But this stuff turned up at the same time. But what I found out, she was giving me so much information that I have not put up, that I've kept to myself, and it was like a confirmation of what I'd heard from other elders, and it continued. And in the end, it became very obvious to me that the rocks have made complete contact with Trudy. And I want you to understand that we're claiming that this particular formation we have now, I believe it's the most powerful assemblage of objects, rings, and other things, and skulls and bones and all these things that's ever been put on this planet at any time. And it's made it very clear to me it wants to do it this one coming up and the one after, and after that, nothing. What I'm going to ask now is I'm going to ask Trudy to come on board, and she'll be standing here in a sec. I'm going to walk away. And she's just going to spend the next 5 minutes. And I know we've got to keep this short, but I'm probably sure we've gone over the 8 minutes we thought we were doing, haven't we, Owen?
Oh, well, I mean, this is pretty special. This doesn't
Yeah. All right. Trudy's going to cut this down to 5 minutes for now. And she's going to talk about her relationship, her growing relationship with these rocks, and why it is they are so important, and why it is they will be part of changing this planet. It's a huge call, but I swear to you it's going to happen. So Trudy, would you like to come in now? And I'm going to step away once you're in this ring. And now I'm going to sit back for the next 5 minutes, and I want you to tell us your reactions and the way you've reacted with these rocks and what you've learned from them.
Like Steve said, yes, they have connected to me. The reason why they connected to me is because of the DNA that's in my blood. In the dimensions, through the fourth dimension, I have to connect with these in order. The important thing is that these are going to be used in the future to open up portals. 12 portals around the world. All these are going to play a part in them, open them back up. And that is what I'm receiving. That is what I've been receiving about the genetic, the DNA, the 12 portals, the dimensions, stuff I never knew before. And when I sat in the circle last time, it basically initiated me, because our custom practices of initiation was stopped in this country. But it doesn't mean that our ancestors and our spirits still don't initiate us through spirit. So I've had an absolute upgrade in my spiritual DNA as well as everything else. I've become actually connected to the rocks because they actually called me long before. They've been calling me since I was born. They told me that I've been separated and marked, and I've always wondered why I've had white eyelashes separate to everybody else. And the elders up in Central Australia told me the exact same thing. I'm a storyteller. But these rocks tell me that I'm here to remind our people, everybody, about the remembering, the unification that's coming. Long, long time ago, they told me that there was telomeres, how they lived a long time. They were cut to the age we are today. But them telomeres, they told me, are going to be reconnected when that time comes. We're all going to have a spiritual upgrade, a transformation, you could call it. This is temporarily, they tell me. They keep telling me to hold on, that change is coming. And all these rocks map out portals, map out the genetics of the DNA, the star seed, the human, everything down that was kept from us. It's all in these rocks, and it's all in our DNA. We just got to trust that our blood is so sacred that we really don't realize how sacred our blood is. And the water that mixes with it, and the minerals from the earth, the rocks, they play a part in all of our creation. In everything, they're a part of us. And the most sacred thing about these rocks is that the rainbow prophecy, our rainbow prophecy from our people, the rainbow children, I never heard this before in my life, but I know all about it now. From the moment I touched that rock, that snake rock, that activated the rainbow prophecy in me, and they basically told me I'm one of the rainbow children. I have an ancient old soul. And I always wondered why I didn't fit in, why I always stayed close to nature, why I love animals. They told me it was for this specific time, where all these rocks are going to come alive, and the knowledge that has been not taken from us, it's still alive in us. If we have 1 drop of gram of blood, listen to this, our DNA, 1 gram, drop on our finger, can hold up to 7,500 petabytes of memory, going back 14 generations. We've got to activate that blood. We've got to activate that memory. And that's when things will speed up. That is what it's all about, the remembering, the rainbow prophecy. And as a Lemurian, I've never learned so much about the Lemurians in my life. The Atlanteans, the root races, the DNA, the genetic coding, I've never knew anything about it except my own blood. I come from this clan, this tribe. But now they're showing me these rocks and everything, that my blood is connected to a lot of other places. Not just my family that carries my family name. It goes beyond. And what they also told me is that what we're doing here, we're destroying our original home. That's why this change has to come. How we do it? Increase love, increase gratitude. Get rid of those. We can't get rid of it. Dark and light, we have to live with it. It's a part of us. When they created duality, they realized back then through these, I'm going too far.
No, you just keep going, finish it up, it's fine.
Through these skulls Steve had, they are connected to us.
Oh, absolutely.
They were the genetic experiment that was almost so close, but the only thing is that they could not hold memory. So what they did with us, especially from the Lyrian planet, they taught us circles, they taught us ceremony, they taught us song lines, how to pass down memory through song lines. That's why our song lines were kept for so long, because that was the perfect way they figured that we can evolve with evolution itself and not go against it. We have to walk with it.
Stand by.
Everything about them, they are genuinely true and they are real. And before, when I sat in them, basically what I did with my blood and my water in my body, recharged some of them. And after that, I was so depleted, I have to refuel water. Every time energy goes out me, I get so low drained that I have to replenish with water, nothing else but water. And like Steve said, these rocks have called me. Yeah, they are. That rainbow serpent prophecy is alive and it's active right now. And it's connected to our people in Uluru. That's where that rainbow serpent, that prophecy was given. Is that fine?
That's great, mate. Look, what I might do in closing, for those people who aren't sure, I might just do a close-up of that rock you were talking about so people can actually see it. This is the rock that Trudy was talking about. It's a 6.5 kilo slab of granite's been cut. On the back is the male story, and on the front is the female story, and that's the dominant story of the future. That's what she's been talking about.
And that rainbow prophecy, what they tell us, is that we are going to, I don't know how to say this, but when that time comes, we're going to repopulate back up there. We're going to be doing work back up there, repopulating those other planets, those other constellations, because they're in trouble, because we're in trouble. It's time we clean up down here because it's affecting up there, as above, as below, as in, as out, same. It's all connected. And we have to do this, because if we can't do this together as a whole, they're going to come and they're really going to rush things. We're really not going to have a say. So this is our time now before they do come back. Because I'm expecting all my sky heroes, especially Butterigan, especially my Malty, Goodenville, where I know where he sits up in the stars. I've learned so much about our star maps. I pretty much know a lot about stars that I never knew before. I know how they work. They're mapped out. The old one showed me, because these star maps, we're going to need them. Because like I said to Steve, that the Earth changes over time, which all these other ones before us knew that. That's why they could not sustain life here long enough. We managed to. The Lemurians were here for 12 million years. Atlanteans, 2 million. We young race, but we're going to be the ones in the end, the vital ones that they need, because what's in our DNA, our genetic mixing with the human starseed, it's going to be needed in the end. Not the end, just in the change.
That's right.
Just in the change.
That's brilliant, Trudy. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So there we go. We've now got the circle set up the way it needs to be set up. I will leave these out tonight. We will film them. Then we'll put them back because they're hidden in different places. And on the 22nd December, they'll be reassembled. Oh, about 1 o'clock in the morning. God help me. And then we're then going to run that ceremony for half an hour. What Evan's going to do now, I'm going to close now. Evan's going to come out and then just focus on the rocks for a couple of minutes so you can get a close look at what's taking place. And of course, on the day, we'll try and find a way to show them in more detail. So Evan, you coming over here now? Okay, here he comes now. We're going to stop now. We'll put this on for 2 minutes. And Evan will now take you down and you can have a look at the arrangement we've got now. Just fix that, place that like that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to say goodbye to now. As I said, come and join us. sign up. Is that what they do, Evan? Do they sign up on our...
What they do is they go to our alien ancestry.
So the wasp doesn't get in.
Yeah. Yeah, they go to our alien ancestry, and on that landing page, there's a link to the little kind of information page about everything that's going on, and you just sign up. And then when you sign up, you'll get a list of different places where you can watch this. Today we had a couple, but we'll have a whole bunch of co-streamers with us on that day, so you can just pick where you'd like to watch. And so sign up, and then you'll get the list and reminded that it's happening, and that's going to be a great time for some and a terrible time for some others. Okay.
And just in closing, I'm going to remind you one other thing, that the presentation, this one, by the way, is free. Well, it's actually free for you, but it's going to cost us a lot, but that's not the point of it. The one after, we get, yes, that's me. Okay, right. The one after, we're going to have Trudy, who just spoke, Uncle Matthew Priestley from Moree, and ourselves, and it's going to be called The First Yarn. And this, by the way, the yarn we're talking about now is the last yarn. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to look at this from an original viewpoint, and we're going to look at how this all began. And we've got Trudy and Matthew will be talking about that. We'll join in. Leah will give his next work with Mesref, work with that again. And that one, yes, you do have to pay a bit of money, but it's shared equally between all of us. And at the moment, ever since COVID, both Evan and Leah don't have a job anymore, do you, Evan? Mm-hmm. So we won't talk about that today. We just mentioned it in private. So, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to come and join us. It costs you nothing, and it really is about changing this planet. And wouldn't it be great in the future if you could actually say, I was there and I was part of it? And really, you can be. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's going to be easy. It's going to be in the morning. It's going to be in the evening. But if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, not so easy, because it's going to be in the middle of the night. But it doesn't matter. We're all doing the same thing. So let's see if we get past the 15 million people we had last time. And Evan, we can turn this off now, let them know, and see if we can make this happen, because there'll be a third one. And after that, it's done. It's over. We've got this one and one more to go. And then after that, there'll be no more formation like this again. It's done and dusted. And it's really up to you what you want to do. Join us. We're walking the right way. And join us 22nd or the 21st of this month. And be part of something that changes everything. And that can't be a bad thing. Until next time.